Hello and welcome to a new kind of video in which we take a look at the latest and greatest in history and mountain literature. For our inaugural episode, we've been kindly sent a copy of a shiny new Munro guidebook by Nicola that dares to use the word definitive on its cover. Peak Bagging, Munros Vol.1. Its subtitle is 64 Routes designed to complete the 141 southerly Munros in the most efficient way. This is what the publisher says. If you want to embark on your own Munro journey but are not sure where to start, Peak Bagging Munros Vol.1 by Nicola Munroist number 6765 and one of the foremost experts on Munro bagging, is the latest guide to climbing the most Munros via the best routes in the most efficient way. The 64 routes included are divided into 10 hubs, which have been chosen as each offers a selection of nearby accommodation to suit all budget, rest day activities for weekend or lengthier stays, and public transport options. But what do we say? This isn't a paid review, so let's check it out and see if it delivers on those lofty claims. As any bagger will know, a guidebook can be wonderfully written, but if you can't easily read its graphics and cartography, it can be more of a frustration when it comes to using it, especially as a backpack guide. Now, this certainly isn't going to be tossed into your rucksack, as it's far more suited to a coffee table than a tent pouch, but that's not what it's for. This book sits firmly in the planning stage category, and at this it excels in more ways than one. Clear, crisp copy is accompanied by useful, relevant and often epic photography, and easy to read, intelligently annotated 1 to 40,000 cartography that appears to have taken inspiration from the colourful Harvey's Maps design. The book has clear guidance as to the routes in question, with each expedition broken down into practical sections that allow you to bullet point the routes in your head. There are relief charts, useful route timings for different levels of intensity, such as walk, trek, fast pack, or run, detailed grading of routes by various factors like terrain and effort, and even downloadable GPX files for when you hit the trails. The translation of Gaelic names is better than most guides of this kind, and the pronunciation advice is for the most part accurate. But we're going to have to dock it a couple of marks for telling people that the Gaelic CH is pronounced as a hard K. Now, to be fair, the book does exactly what it says on the cover. It is arguably the definitive guide to these 64 routes to complete the southerly Munros in the most efficient way. However, as we know, there are cases where the most efficient way is not necessarily the best way. The featured route on Ben Louis and Ben Aclave is a particularly egregious example of the far superior and unforgettable approach from Dalry being relegated to a passing mention in favour of the bog-ridden gauntlet of efficiency. Alternative options are mentioned in passing, but all focuses on the featured routes, which is fair enough. Each hub is introduced well, and there's basic information on facilities and transport to the areas. But if you're looking for a more comprehensive guide to all options on the mountains in question, this probably isn't it, though again, to be fair, there are other books for that. Having read a fair bit of Munro literature, I can assure you there's nothing worse than a dry description of an experience on the mountain, and Peak Bagging Munros has no such issues. The book is enjoyable to read, with a personable and engaging tone that respects the intelligence of the reader. Nicola's experience and love of the hills is evident in her writing, with perceptive, relevant and insightful observations on each expedition. So what's the verdict? Gonna give this one an 8 out of 10. Attention to detail and bountiful visual aids make this a superb guidebook to help you plan your next adventure in the southern Munros if time is of the essence. Its laser focus on single routes may disappoint those who like to combine different approaches, but overall, Peak Bagging Munros is a fantastic and well-crafted addition to any budding Munro bagger's shelf. If you'd like to pick up a copy, you can visit adventurebooks.com to get 25% off with the code PBM25. Alright everybody, that's all we've got for today. We'd like to thank Vertebrate Publishing for sending us a copy, and to Nicola for signing ours. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, drop a like and subscribe to see our next adventure as we take the highway to Ben Henley. Until then, enjoy your adventures.